12 News at 10 starts now.
Boy, what do you know? 2 nights in a row now with another round of monsoon storms moving through the valley right now. Our 12 News weather tracker has been driving around the East Valley tonight, getting a look at the road conditions. This is what it looked like just off the 101 in Scottsdale about 10 minutes ago. A lot of lightning in the area, wet roads, so the folks that didn't get it last night seem to be getting it tonight.
Yeah, we're getting spoiled with all of this. We also captured this video from an ADOT camera. This is the Loop 101 and Shea. Some slick roads there actually caused a car to spin out. You can see that there. It's causing some slowdown there. That happened just before 9 p.m. DPS says that thankfully nobody was injured and the freeway is now clear. Meanwhile, this is a live look at an ADOT camera on State Route 51. This is happening at Bell Road. You can see that a tree came down there on the side of the road. Yeah, it says, you can see a lot of rain there coming down in the area as well, and some very, very gusty winds. Well, good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10.
I'm Mark Curtis. We've been waiting all year for some solids. Like for 10 years we've been waiting for it. The monsoon, though, has finally delivered on each of the last 2 nights, and boy, do we need the moisture. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley is here with our weather impact forecast.
Yeah, a very active radar in the valley right now. Most of the storms are in the northern part of the valley where we have several severe thunderstorm warnings. These will be ongoing through 10:30. One is over Lake Pleasant, the other one over Deer Valley, and then just to the north of that, another one just got issued. Up to 60-mile-per-hour winds and some small hail possible. And these are once again all developing on outflow boundaries from all the storms that we had up in the high country and the couple that we had down across the lower deserts earlier. So you can see this heavy, severe thunderstorm moving up toward Cave Creek. Primary threat with this is damaging winds up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts. This is right over the 17 right now. So New River, Anthem, and that's moving to the northeast at about 20 miles per hour. So if you're watching us from Cave Creek or Carefree, make sure you stay inside, stay away from windows, because this storm really means business. It is severe, and gusts up to 60 miles per hour will be possible. You can also see this storm is back building. You saw that ADOT camera. The rain was virtually sideways along the 51 near Bell, and that's this storm right here. Anytime you see white like that, that could be a hail core. So that's falling right along the 101 up toward Tatum Boulevard and the 101. So that's where we're seeing some of the heaviest rain in the valley right now. Also down toward Santan Valley. You can see this is actually just beginning to develop near Sun Lake, Santan Valley, and Queen Creek. And that's also going to be lifting to the northeast. So we're going to continue to track this and also look ahead to your Friday coming up in my full forecast. Mark?
All right, Linz, thanks. Tonight, the Pinal County Sheriff's Office is investigating a school's parent-teacher organization over allegations of theft. Now, this comes after a former board member came forward claiming that hundreds of thousands of dollars had disappeared. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live outside EdPrize School in Santan Valley tonight. And Chase, a board meeting was held. Did the missing money come up?
Mark, it was brought up, but the board said they really can't talk about it because of that pending investigation. However, we did learn the board recently removed its president, citing one of the reasons as financial accountability.
Of course, it's concerning. It affects the kids, and that's the most important thing.
Some parents coming out of Thursday's PTO meeting are livid with the financial situation they're currently in.
I'm really angry. I'm angry over that, because you're ripping off kids and teachers.
Their kids attend EdPrize School Queen Creek, a charter school in Santan Valley. While our cameras weren't allowed inside the PTO meeting, we were still able to attend. The board announced in the beginning of June they had $0 in their checking account. A couple weeks later, they had a negative balance.
We don't know where that money went.
Jamie Akalia was the board's event coordinator last year, helping with fundraisers and planning. When I asked for an estimate of how much money disappeared,
I'd probably say it's in at least the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
with that money gone, it meant teachers and parents couldn't get reimbursed.
We need the money to help these kids, and how you do that to kids, I don't understand. I really don't get it.
The person Acalia says is responsible for the PTO's finances during that time, the now former president, Jocelyn Carranza, who according to her profile had been involved with the PTO for 8 years. Carranza isn't facing any charges related to this situation, but when the board voted to remove her last month, they cited the reasons being for not fulfilling essential responsibilities, including timely communication, collaborative participation, and financial accountability. She was also removed as the key executive for the board's Wells Fargo account. Hello, my name is Chase Golightly. I'm a reporter with 12 News. I tried to speak with Carranza about the removal at her home. We were just hoping to get your side of the story, Jocelyn. Instead, she told me to leave her property or she would call police. We did speak with one substitute teacher and parent of the school about Carranza, who believes she's not responsible for the financial mess.
Our previous PTN president, I think, is a good person. I am friends with her.
Moving forward with the investigation by the sheriff's office, these parents do hope the truth will come out.
I hope that we can get this solved.
Now, after the ex-president was ousted from the board, the PTO completely rebranded itself, hiring a new president, or I should say electing a new president that said they are going to be more transparent about the situation. All the parents I spoke with tonight said that they are feeling positive moving forward with this new board. And we also learned tonight that a very generous parent actually donated enough money to the PTO to be able to reimburse all those teachers that have been waiting. We're told that is set to start tomorrow. We're live in Santan Valley. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thank you. Turning now to 3 wildfires that are burning across Arizona, with 2 of them prompting evacuation advisories. Starting with the Washington fire, which is prompting evacuations for communities in Gila County. If you live in Mountains Meadow Ranch in Washington Park, officials are asking you to evacuate immediately. Communities in Bray Creek Ranch, Shadow Rim Ranch, Verde Glen, and Rim Trail Estates should also be ready to evacuate. Now over to the Woods fire. This one is burning southeast of Sedona. Some residents in the village of Oak Creek, just east of State Route 179, are still on set status. The fire has burned almost 5 dozen acres. And then there is the Dragon Bravo fire, which remains the largest wildfire actively burning in the country. It has scorched more than 144,000 acres in the Grand Canyon's North Rim, but crews are slowly starting to get it under control. Containment now has jumped to about 54%.
In Tucson tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what sparked a fire at the old Greyhound Park. The fire broke out just before 8 o'clock last night inside one of the vacant buildings there. Arson investigators are looking into whether it was intentionally started. Last year, there was a similar fire at Greyhound Park, which is being leveled right now to make room for new soccer fields. Well, tonight we're learning more about the suspect that officials say impersonated an FBI agent. New court documents reveal the suspect may have also impersonated a Phoenix police officer. Troopers took 53-year-old Roderick Gaines into custody last week following a months-long investigation. Now, all of this started with a tip back in April from someone who said they saw Gaines pull over another driver on the 303 in Peoria. He's now facing charges of impersonating a peace officer and false imprisonment.
It was an emotional afternoon as hundreds of people gathered to remember the life of Rebecca Batiste. A memorial service in celebration of the 10-year-old's life was held at Empower College Prep in Phoenix. That is where Rebecca went to school before her family moved to Apache County, where she was killed. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono was at today's vigil and has the story.
You are deeply loved, profoundly missed, and forever in our hearts.
A sea of magenta inside Empower College Prep's gym.
She would have loved this so much.
It's all for Rebecca Baptiste, a 10-year-old shining star on this campus, who, despite the abuse officials say she was facing at home, walked into every room with a smile.
She was able to be who she was despite what she was facing. And some on campus described her as a literal angel.
Rebecca's 3rd grade teacher reading a poem Rebecca wrote about her favorite color.
If you want to find magenta.
And one she wrote Rebecca in return.
If you want to find Rebecca, just look up at the sun's light, shining so brightly, so boldly, and so beautifully, just like the light in Rebecca.
And Rebecca's 4th grade teacher, recalling how the 10-year-old girl had dreams of becoming a teacher herself.
I was lucky because I got to show you love when the people you wanted to most refused. I loved you so much.
But that dream was stolen. Rebecca died on July 30th after officials say she was tortured and abused at the hands of her father and his girlfriend, making this tragedy even harder to comprehend. Empower staff says they made 13 reports to Arizona's Department of Child Safety in the past year alone, raising red flags about abuse and neglect concerns for Rebecca and her siblings.
This should never have happened. Never. And because of her, there's going to be a lot of changes coming.
As this school community comes together for the girl they tried so hard to save, they're now committed to keeping Rebecca's memory alive.
There are more Rebeccas, unfortunately, out there, and we want to just constantly honor her memory and push that she was loved.
In Phoenix, Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thank you. And still ahead, what we know about tomorrow's high-stakes summit in Alaska between President Trump and Russian President Putin. Plus, could the White House step in to financially support Intel? Details on a new report that President Trump may be working towards a potential deal with the company.
And in sports, don't look now, but the D-backs are red hot. We'll break down where they stand in the race for a playoff spot.
And several severe thunderstorm warnings in the valley right now, mostly north of Phoenix. We are tracking these storms minute by minute coming up in my full forecast.
Lynn's thanks. It is 10:13 as we give you a live look right now. Boy, look at the ponding on the road there. This is from our weather tracker. Live pictures out of the Scottsdale area. We're coming right back with more.